Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Kiodiekin. Thank you guys all for joining this nice Sunday afternoon. And as you guys just saw, a couple of hours ago, I uploaded a video in regards to the Nesby companion image that was uploaded to Arcade Punks several days ago. And so we do have our special guest that'll be joining us today, Wolfanoz. And the reason why I wanted to invite him on is because I hate internet chatter. So that way you guys hear it from him himself, and the concerns that he has. I know he's actually mentioned it earlier while he was online, but this way there's no rumors. You got to hear his words, no speculation about how he feels and the issues that we proposed as well. And just to reclarify again, we're not talking about copying ROMs or media or really anything of that nature. We're more or less talking about people uploading the same thing and then slapping their names on it, or in some cases, want to slap additional names on it and it's broken. And then what happens is in the community, you have different variants really of the same thing. Now, Wolfanoz put out two images last year, Retromania, which is on Supreme Ultra, and also Supreme Pro. I can't remember the name of that one, but that was a 256 gigabyte image. And so apparently, this particular image maker sent something to Arcade Punks, 750 gigs, which is a 1 terabyte variant, and it has a lot of issues. It has plenty of issues. And apparently, what they did was they copied over scripts from Supreme Pro, Supreme Ultra, called it their own, uploaded a bunch of media that won't work. The image is broken. It's totally disastrous. Is why I named that image that. And the way scripts work, a lot of scripts are dependent on other scripts, and you can't just manually copy and paste them, which is why there are not a lot of Pi image makers. I would say builders out there, so to speak. But yeah, I understand that they were trying to give credit to the Supreme Team and Wolfanoz, but what happens in situations like this is they are going to get bombarded with questions. The admins of his Discord are going to get bombarded with questions when it's totally needless. It's total confusion that is not needed. I'm going to get bombarded with questions. People are just going to say, "Oh, it's Supreme," or "Oh, it's Wolfanoz," and you guys are going to get even community members get bombarded with the same questions when they weren't needed because they were addressed with the previous image that was working fine and perfectly. So it would be the equivalent of taking Wolfanoz's image and releasing 20 different variants. And now you got all these community members trying to help out one another when that was really not needed. You had one variant that was working fine, and now you have 20 different variants, and everybody's trying to pitch in their own information out of your own precious time. Because again, that's precious for community members to take out time out of their day and try to assist people. On top of that, we're not talking about a 9 gigabyte image. We're talking about something that's a 1 terabyte, 750 gigabytes that takes 6 to 8 hours just to extract. All right. And then another hour or two, maybe three, to burn it or flash it to the drive. And so we have Wolfanoz on. I just wanted to get that point out and clarify our position, things that have been addressed, talked about. And so, Wolfanoz, thanks for joining us today. We're going to go ahead and talk about this. So, if you want to tell
Thanks
people
for
a
having
little
me
bit
on, man.
about this, yeah, you're welcome. You want to tell people a little bit about yourself, and then, of
Yeah,
course, give your clarification. So, this is your time. Go ahead, man.
I think most might know in the community that I got started. I mean, previously I have a background in IT. I have for about 20, 25 years now. And I figured, why not translate that, experience to you know, using something in a hobby that I love, which is obviously video games and retro. So that's what I took it towards. So basically, within the past 5, 6 years, I actually approached Mad Little Pixel, and he's like, "Yeah." I go, "Do you mind if I like play around with your image and see what I can do with it to improve it?" Blah blah blah. So yeah, man, go for it. So he was all cool with it, and that's pretty much where I'm at now. I mean, after that, I got started on my own. I just went on my own and started doing it myself, and here I am today. But um, in this situation now, I mean, we've all mostly had a good relationship with Punks I have at least for the past 5 or 6 years, and he's still a great guy. But I have a problem with, like Keo just mentioned, basically taking someone's image and someone's work and slapping your name on it, even with like, just gutting some ROMs here and there and then putting it out as your own.
Right.
This is
Right.
Go ahead, man.
Let me jump in real quick. So just so you guys all know, Wolfanoz and I, we talked about this privately, where we had an issue with, just in general, where somebody could download your stuff, re-upload it, and you have no knowledge what's on that image. There could be
Right.
somebody could download your image, re-upload it with your name on it. This is the big point.
Right.
And you don't know if there's kiddie porn on there or something.
Exactly.
You see
That's a
where we're going
potential.
with this? Right.
That's a
So that is a
potential.
potential. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened in the community. But for somebody to just download something and re-upload it, and you have no knowledge what's there, you have no control of it over at that point. So
I mean, here's an example. Okay, so Level 1 Online came to me back when in the heyday when my 32 gigabyte arcade came out, and I had spent literally about probably 8 months on that image. And he asked me, because this was around the time Arcade 1UP came out with their stuff. This was like about 2 months after my image came out. He's like, "Hey man, do you mind if I take your image and do a remix of it for 5.4 for the Arcade 1UPs?" I said, "Yeah, man, go for it, no problem." And sure enough, he did that, and it was a success as well. And that's fine. If you approach an image maker and say you want to take it and do something with it, that's fine. But don't just slap your name on it without even talking to the image maker. That's just wrong. I mean, I understand that these ROMs aren't owned; they aren't owned. But the work that we put into these images is work in our own free time.
right, and I can tell you my personal gripe. When I first started, was downloading an image, and these image makers, with the exception of, I would probably say V-Man.
Yeah.
None of these guys are really on social media. When you see some of these names, none of these guys are really on Instagram.
No, they have their own private forums, though.
Right. They have their own private forums, but when you see a lot of these videos, they're not really like admins of Facebook groups, or I would say the big three: Instagram, maybe Facebook, or even YouTube. I know
Right.
V-Man's on YouTube. He
Right.
he used to go live occasionally, but what I'm saying is, oh, they want you to go to a Discord, and I'm hardly on Discord myself. I have it, but I'm really not even there. But
Right.
they're not reachable to really answer questions. Like for myself, I'm here, I go live. You guys see the stuff I do. I have a couple of groups. I run some groups. Supreme Team has a Facebook group. They're out there. So it's like, hey, you guys can send. They have Facebook pages, but for the most part, like this Arturo guy, you don't know who the heck he is.
Right. Yeah, we've never heard of him.
Right.
I mean, that's fine. And if you want to get started in the community, that's great. But, don't take others' work, slap your name on it, especially after we've gone through it and looked at it. And he's basically just gutted an image, copied it over to another base, expecting it to work, and it hasn't. So for the most part.
Right. So here's a video clip I showed when I was going through the scripts. Previously, I had to record it because it kept crashing on me. And actually, I think I flashed it yesterday about 4 times. This doesn't happen. This is me just trying to turn the audio music on.
So let me clarify with you. What did you flash it on exactly? Just so everybody knows exactly what you did.
T5. I erased my Venom image and burned it on a T5 Samsung SSD. And it worked the first time. I went in, started messing with it. I turned on the video loading screens and the sound, and it crashed. So I could, even when I rebooted it up, I couldn't go back into WinSCP and fix anything. I had to reflash the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which spent another hour or two. So remember, this is a 750 gigabyte image, not 32, not 64, not 9, but a full terabyte.
Yeah. But yeah, this is going to be a future problem if it's not nipped in the bud now, especially with other image makers, because this isn't going to be, I mean, your image, you name it, down the road, any of your images, any of Damaso's, anybody like that, someone can take your work that you've put your free time into and slap their name on it, and it's going to get passed along. And I don't know if it's for ad revenue for the website or whatever it might be, but you just can't. That's kind of wrong. I mean, without even approaching the maker of the image,
Yeah, and again, that's where where people don't take ownership over something. For example, here, let me turn my sound off. So
All
like
right.
if I release something, I slap my name on it. At least I'll even tell you this much. Let's say, for example, if I took Wolfanoz's Retromania and made it mine, even if I slap my name on it, you guys know who I am as an individual. I have a number of groups. I have my own YouTube channel to support whatever the heck it is that I just got finished doing, not somewhere on the dark corners of the web and just like, so long, fellas. See you later. So
Yeah. But yeah, it's that's just it's kind of a it was kind of a rude wake up call because one of my admins on my Discord did you see this? I go, what are you talking about? And showed me the
right,
post on Punks. I didn't even get a heads up to it.
right,
So I didn't even get a heads up from Punks on it. So I mean,
yeah.
it was kind of a shock to the system. So
Well, yeah, and I thought they had some type of prerequisite system. I know from based upon talking to you, you told me in the past that they don't upload anything if it doesn't boot. So I don't know
right, they test it,
for
or he has, but from my understanding, there's new management of sorts, and I'm not sure what the logic is behind all that right now.
right,
But in the past, he would take your image, check it out, make sure it ran, mostly everything run on it, and let you know, and then put it out.
right.
You know,
And to clarify again, this was not something I really had to dig into to find out whether or not something worked. Like I know I had issues with Pistolero. I was like, man, what happened with this? But for the most part, it always booted, it worked, and so
right,
forth. We're talking about I turned the music on, or I changed the name on a basic folder, and it crashed the system. The
right,
music folder where you have the music there, and there's music in there, so you can't say you didn't upload this without intentions for people to use music and then have files in there.
right. Yeah, well, he literally probably went to the ROMs folder and just copied everything over without even looking at it. That's exactly what he did. Whoever did
Wow.
this, he
Wow.
just basically mass copied everything from the ROMs folder over to this new base and expected everything to work.
Yeah. And of course, you guys have already seen this. And then, of course, Supreme has their concerns. I talked to some members, some are happy that they just got credit. But the other part about it is they get bombarded with questions because people are going to say, oh, are those your scripts? Or they'll probably reference me, Keo, how come this isn't working? And so now you're creating additional work that really isn't needed to explain some stuff that, well, we don't, nobody's responsible for this. We don't know, this is not how it works. So again, like some people could look at this and say, well, this done intentional to make Supreme look bad? Was this done to make Wolfanoz look bad? So we don't know, but those have been posed questions. And again, their names are tossed on it, but it's broken. And we
Yep.
don't make these videos lightly just to go through stuff to see uh we try to keep things in perspective to make sure that they work, or to create a baseline about this works, this is what you should do, because not every Retropie image is created equal.
No, everybody has their own fingerprint of how they like to do things. That's just how it is.
Right. So you can see I do have the games were working. The sound on the games were working. I know Atari Lynx wasn't working, and but
Well, it's like platforms like we talked about, like Sufami, that I had to add by hand. Bally
mhm,
Astrocade isn't there, I don't think. What you call it? Channel F. I
right.
don't know if Channel F's not there, but those were all hand added because you can't just add those and expect them to work. You got to do some work to get them to work.
Yeah.
So,
So again, whoever this was, they copy and pasted stuff from Supreme Ultra and Supreme Pro, because we do have. Let me pull up my screen share here. I know I did it in the video earlier. Let me go ahead and remove this for just a second. I'll pull it up so you guys can see it. And let's do screen share. Yeah, so this was the first image I captured from it. So they probably forgot this was on the image. So that's why they used the vanilla Retropie image, because they didn't know how to edit that please do not resell thing from the Supreme team. But they could remove this. And this is in the system info and weather tab that is located on Supreme Pro, Supreme Ultra, the rest of the Supreme images. So they forgot to remove this. So it looks like they took stuff from Pro and Ultra installed it on a Retropie vanilla base, called it their own without understanding how everything worked.
Yeah. So the guy I mentioned in the info file or the fact that he posted with the image that he didn't have a lot of technical prowess. So that to me says right there, he didn't notice all this other stuff. But then again, we've seen some things that tell us that he had some technical knowledge. So
Right.
I don't know.
Right. So, Wolf, anything else you want to add? I know you want to keep it short today and it's Sunday. So,
no, man, just, if you have any questions, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Discord, I'm on Reddit. I'm pretty much all over the place under Retropie and Retro Pirates on Reddit. I mean, I'm sorry, and on Discord as well. And pretty sure my link is in my YouTube description. So
yeah, you can just type it in on your comment or whatever in the comment section of this video or whatever.
Yep.
And we'll be good.
Thanks for having me on, man.
All right, fellas, we just wanted to keep this short today. You guys can enjoy your Sunday evening. So thanks again, Wolfanoz and the community. Oh, one last question. I know we didn't get a chance to talk on. Where do you see Retropie images going from here on out? Because I know there have been talk about from some other people that maybe from now on they'll just be releasing Retropie images privately and not publicly.
That's a potential, especially with this happening.
Well,
I mean, not only that, we're starting to see people like CoinOps get into the game too. So that could, not put people up to making images like they used to.
Right. Cool. All right, man. All right. Well, thanks for joining. We're glad you had you on today.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
You too. All right. All right, guys. You guys all have a good day. Peace out. Later.